Hey, what's going on, guys? Bob Mentality here, and today I want to talk to you about a trade I placed yesterday on WEN. Covered up the last of it today, so it's going to actually be a swing trade recap, and I want to talk to you about the concept of the head of the snake and how I've been using that to kind of navigate this crazy market we've been in the past couple weeks, man. It's been wild. I mean, you got AMC, you got Clove, you got Kodak, you got Rocket, you got Wendy's, of all things, Wendy's. You've got what? GME went a little crazy there. Not as much as AMC, but it did go a little bit crazy. Just multiple names that are just getting ran up, blown out of proportion. And this is how I look at the market when I'm trading these, especially if you're trading to the short side. So anyway, to describe it to you, we've got Wendy's here, right? I'm going to go ahead and just zoom out on this one. As you can see, it had a fair value of $23, right? Before it randomly got the most volume it's seen in what? In years. And how many years? I think since 2013, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the most volume it's ever seen since 2013, okay? For no reason, by the way. It was just a technical breakout and a Reddit pump. That's the bottom line. So why would this stock stay up here at 30 when it can return to fair value at 23? That was my thought process on Wendy's. If you jump over, you'll see a lot of charts that look similar to this. We'll jump over to Clove. Look at the same thing. Ran from 6 all the way up to 28. Sold the whole move off. You've seen names like Geo. Did a similar move. Ran up here to 11s. Sold the whole thing off. AMC, I believe, it started rolling over here a little bit today. Yeah, but it hasn't sold the entire move off because this is what you call the head of the snake. So, here's how I went about trading this. We saw the Wendy's just ramp up on no news, just chatter, and Reddit chasing this thing up. Technical breakout, huge upside move. The one thing you got to understand about the head of the snake idea is there's always going to be one stock that's leading the pack, right? It's always going to be one stock that everyone's focusing on. And in this situation, that stock was AMC, and given the timing, it really was kind of Clove as well, CLOV. Both of these were what you'd call like the head of the snake, okay? And so what happened was, if you were trying to trade AMC, right, and you were trying to trade this fade, well, what you'd find was it's a very difficult trade. As you can see, it still didn't entirely roll over. There's no shares to short. The IV is priced out of this world, right? So it's going to be hard to get a clean short on AMC. And a lot of times you'll notice with the head of the snake, like the main runner will be a low float. Again, no shares to short. It might not even have options on it. So it's really kind of hard to trade. So what happens is, as people are chasing AMC, some of these people are actually checking other stocks and looking to see if there's another stock that's similar. Maybe it's low float, maybe not. Maybe it has a high short interest, maybe not. And they're going to chase those names because they think they're going to go just like, you know, the head of the snake did, like AMC or Clove. But what happens is those stocks that they choose don't have all of the same. It may not have as much volume. It may have more overhead supply. It may have warrants out. They may do an offering. The outstanding shares may just be so large that they can't get any float rotation, and there's not enough volume to really keep it propped up. And this is what happened with Wendy's. So the short can be really hard because of some of those factors on AMC, whereas if you jump over to Wendy's, right, it got a sick upside move, but it's going to be a lot harder for them to keep this stock up than names like AMC, which is the head of the snake. It has so much focus on it and so much volume. So that's kind of the basis for my trade. Once the head of the snake is chopped off, so you see the momentum stall out, right? It either crashes or it stalls out on like AMC or Clove. The body of the snake is just going to die immediately. It's going to be gone. So Wendy's is what you'd consider the body, right? So with Wendy's, as you can see, we had one quick day of upside. We went from $23 all the way up to $32. Yesterday we gapped up. I want you to notice the lower highs here, the lower highs in Wendy's, right? This was the head of the snake, was Clove. It was running at the exact same time. Strong day, gapping up, but notice with Clove it had higher lows into the open, right? So immediately right off the bat, you've got bearish divergence on Wendy's. So what I was looking to do was I was keeping an eye on this $30 level. Why'd I pick $30? Good whole and half dollar mark. That was also the previous high here yesterday, right? Well, not yesterday, but when I was looking at this trade, it was Monday. That was the previous high. And so of pre-market, a lot of people were going to be watching that over-under area. Also, if you go over and look at Clove, it was kind of paying attention to that $30 area, right? So if this ripped through 30, chances are Wendy's would rip through 30 as well. So it's a very similar price stocks running at the same exact time. So what I ended up doing was I wanted to get short Wendy's because I knew Clove could do whatever it wants, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to sustain such a large float that Wendy's has. So I was watching Wendy's. We got the opening move here, lower highs of the opened up. What I went ahead and did was I got short right out of the gate right here, 300 shares at $29. Immediate downside confirmed. Let me get to the 1 minute so we can just jump over so I can show you actually candle per candle. So here's the whole 2 days price action, and I'll actually zoom in here. So first open, you got the minute open. I went ahead and got 300 shares short right there at $29. We immediately flushed down into this $28 level. So I went ahead and covered up 200 shares, put $200 in my pocket, and then have 100 shares remaining. It makes it a little easier for me to trade around and hold the stock, right? We got a bounce, sold down some more. I'm still holding those 100 shares, waiting for a large bounce. We finally got that bounce right here at 27.80, and I'll just draw a line there just to make it easier to visualize. At 27.82, right there. I went ahead and got short. I just added on another 100 shares, right? So I went from 300 to 100 shares and then back to 200 shares. So I added another 100 here at 27.80. Then we rolled over again, and once we broke the previous lows of the day, I went ahead and took off my my last 100 from 29. I took those off down here at 26.80. Okay, from a 29 average. So pocketed another $220 on that. So I'm up 420 bucks on the day. I'm sitting great. I still have my average of 27.81. No stress, consistent supply, just leveling this thing out. It's very clear. Now look at how smooth. Let me jump to the 5 minute. I want to point this out. Look at how smooth this downtrend is, right? See how smooth down, not any crazy moves up. If you jump over to a name like Clove, you'll notice that there was a lot of volatility intraday. These huge bounces, right, that came through. It wasn't such a smooth descent. It did get the pullback, but it's not as easy of a trade. If you were to look to get in a little bit early, you could have been underwater a decent bit on these bounces. Jump over to Wendy's. Notice just how much smoother it is on the way down. That tends to happen with the body of the snake. There's not as much shorts like keeping this thing up. This thing has shares available. People are hammering this thing to the downside. And so, yeah, I kept those last 100. I locked in that $420. I kept those last 100 and swung those over the close. And then today, what I ended up doing, we saw us open up here, consistent supply at 25.50. We got the breakdown flush to red, and I just set a limit order for 24.50, and I got stopped out there at 24.50. My lowest covers were 24.45, but that was only on 10 shares out of the 100. So that right there was an extra 330 bucks around there. And so total on the trade was over $750 in 2 days, stress-free. As far as capital requirement to put this trade on, if you had, let's see, a $5,000 account, if you had 4,500 bucks, you could have taken the same trades I took here, and with 2-to-1 margin on TD Ameritrade. And if you had just a regular margin account with $2,000 in it, you could have took this. You could have just shredded 100 share scalps, right? So where I was entering 300, you could have shorted, 100. Bought it back. Short 100 here at 29, bought it back at 28. You got the pop, flush, pop back up to 27.80. Could have bought, shorted that again, bought it back here at 28.60. It was the same thing I did. 26.80, excuse me. And then if it popped back up, you want to get over 27, get over 27 and cover it back up. You could have recycled those shares and you could have still made money with just a smaller account, $2,000 account. So that's one of the things that's nice when you're not focused on the head of the snake. You're looking at a cheaper stock here than AMC, right? And it trades very organically, very naturally, despite the crazy parabolic it went on. So just to wrap it up, some of the points I want to make about to keep an eye on. If you see bearish divergence pre-market, that is a sign that you're going to see likely bearish divergence throughout the entire day. Because Clove got hit as well, it didn't look like it was going to pre-market, but because Clove saw weakness, that pretty much guaranteed Wendy's was going to die. Because it had that bearish divergence early pre-market, and that continued throughout the day. And as you can see, we're still selling here after hours because fair value is around $23. Head of the snake, others will follow. If Clove is dead, all the other ones are dead. Remember I showed you Geo's dead, Wendy's is dead. All those stocks rolled over as soon as you saw the head of the snake, which was Clove, die. And honestly, guys, I think that's pretty much it for this trade recap. So $750 in 2 days, and it was a very stress-free, very easy trade, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Continue to stay focused to develop that bot mentality, which is that trading mentality where you learn to eliminate your emotions so you can trade like a machine, guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.